little technical difficulty. Okay. Okay. Hi everybody again. Sorry. See, I'm just like we were muted. We were muted. They couldn't hear us. All right. So now they can hear us. And I'm going to do that again. I'm Highly Sensitive Unicorn. I'm a Gamer for Peace. I'm a Veterans for Peace Associate member. And tonight we are talking about sustainable options for youth, other alternatives to enlistment. Last week we had on Lewis Rapper Rager, another Veterans for Peace member who talked about job readiness and some job skills. Tonight I've got my new friend Hart on, who is a veteran and also a veteran of this kind of organizing. So he's got a lot of good tips for me, and he's going to talk about a lot of different things he's been doing with youth in the schools that have been helpful, and we're going to bring them here into the online space. Um, you can't see him because I'm about to play this game, but you can hear him. Hart, do you want to say hi?
Oh, hey y'all, how's it going?
So that's Hart. When we get you on screen, we'll do a little introduction about who you are so they can see you. But
Huh.
right now we're gonna play some Knockout City. Or I'm gonna play some Knockout City, and Hart's gonna hang out with me for a minute and see what this whole Twitch thing is about. So this is my character, Hart. See,
Oh, okay, cool.
I kind of tried to make it look like me because I have
Yeah.
orange hair. Um, so I'm not very good at this game. I just really like it. So
Not-
I have
yeah.
no idea what that's gonna be. That looks a little hard. Okay, we're gonna play this new
Oh, crap.
mode. It's a new mode. I'm not really
Okay.
sure what it is. Have you ever played a game on a video game like this on a PC? Oh yeah, you said you play the Marvel game, right?
Yeah, Mobile Strike Force. It's not quite exactly like this, but wow, this is
So I'm on a team.
uh-huh.
That's my teammate. I'm blue.
Okay.
They just made themselves into a ball so that I can throw them. That's also my teammate. But the point of the matter is to try to, uh, knock out your teammates. But I'm not very good at the running around like this part. Do you play any games that are like first-person shooters, like Call of Duty or things like that?
Oh, I'd say maybe 30 years ago I was playing Doom.
Oh
I
yeah, classic.
was um was playing so much I was dreaming about it
Oh yeah.
and kind of fell off. I think the Quake 2 after Doom, Quake, the sequel to Doom. Um, yeah, I would go through the game on doing nothing with the shotgun.
Okay. Did you
Nothing with the
play on a PC or like on a console?
shotgun on a PC,
Wow.
and
Yeah. Those are like the OG games.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and yeah, I was got pretty good at that. Later on in the 90s and the aughts, I was playing Madden.
Okay.
Uh, Took a while for me to finally, uh, be capable in that game, but I haven't played anything like that in years. Just the Marvel Strike Force game from Scopely. Um,
Uh, that's
Usually when the few times where I've touched on Call of Duty or whatnot, it just always made me really want to do paintball instead.
uh-huh. Well, that's why I like this game. So there's
Mhm.
like a lot of the games that are like this style are
Yeah,
shooter games, right? Like and I have a really hard time playing those games. This game has the same mechanics, right? Like you have to go around and like
yeah,
find the person and you're just hitting them with a dodgeball though. And so that's more fun to me. uh, than those other games. What did Chris say? Chris said when you were playing Doom, did you ever play the Marine Corps training mod that they had in the game?
No, I just played the storyline.
Okay.
Um, really don't remember that aspect of it. Training mod. Basically, I just ran around with my shotgun. Shotgun ammo was so plentiful, and just take my time behind the corners. And luckily, during that time, like the monsters didn't really chase after you; they just kind of stayed in one place.
Oh, okay.
So, and then by the time I got to the end in Doom, um, I saved up all my BFG rounds and triple or quadruple damage. I can't remember all the exact names of it. And that was probably the easiest part of the game was the final boss because just destroyed him.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Um, I think Sin, Sin's in the chat, so maybe they can correct me. But I believe that like the military like was involved in the creation of Doom or like somehow connected to it. Maybe it's just this. They used the Doom game to mod some training modules for the military, which is interesting. Did you know
yeah.
that like back in the at the time when you were playing it?
I didn't quite know about that. It was just something. Actually, my dad was playing first, and so I got on there to play with him or try to beat his score.
Mhm.
But no, but yeah, it makes sense. Like, I mean, as much as the military now is in with esports and development. I mean, I remember
Mhm.
when I was in the army, um, back in oh 01, 2, 3, 4. Um, the army came out with its own first shooter game,
Oh, okay.
and they wanted us to get on there and play, but I really wasn't into it at that time.
Mhm.
I was like, why do I need to play a game when I'm already in it, you know?
Right.
But yeah, it'd be interesting. I was actually thinking from our conversation before this, uh, if I could get on Call of Duty and play as like a kid, and if anybody killed me, then it would put a virus on their game and it would ban them from the game for committing a war crime. It's
Oh.
like, I
Yeah.
mean,
No, yeah, you mean like if you could like somehow like hack the game where like you didn't play as a soldier, you played as like a civilian like
yeah,
child, you mean?
yeah, as a
Yeah.
best as a child, you
Uh-huh.
know, and yeah, because like in war, I mean, you're not. It's been a long time since it was like an army versus army type
Right.
scenario. It's all been urban,
Mhm.
and there's that's men, women, and children all up in that mix, and you know to have like a game of Call of Duty and to think that that is a actual training module for war is pretty sickening to me because it takes out that civilian element.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where we're at with like drone warfare, right? Like
Mhm.
and that's these like simulator games maybe at the time when like, you were like playing these games maybe didn't seem like, you know, like worth it, but now like it makes all the sense in the world that like you would be training soldiers in on a game because they'll just be flying a drone eventually, which is like pretty much the same thing
Yeah,
as playing a video game. Just so insane.
but I mean, I hear those drone pilots go through the same. I mean, not exactly the same PTSD, but
Oh yeah.
definitely because they see the child who runs across the street
Yeah.
eventually gets bombed. They see all that, and you know of like say the weddings or the funerals that
Mhm.
bombed. I mean, they see all the people that aren't involved in the conflict, but they just have that one target, that name, where it doesn't matter where or when they are, is when they drop it. And those guys get really wrecked in the head and in the heart, you know.
Yeah. I just watched that Daniel Hale documentary about those drone pilots. It's very upsetting. We have a new follower, Creed the Mediocre. They say, "Hello, VFP family. I'm sure you're a VFP member. Thank you for joining us today." Um, another thing that I'm learning, right? Like, so not only am I talking to you, Hart, but I'm talking to the crowd too. The crowd, and by crowd I mean there's two people. But for me, this is
Oh,
like I'm playing a game. I'm managing the tech for what's happening. I'm talking to you, or trying to talk to you anyway, about drones. And then I'm also no R in my name. Oh, Seed the Mediocre. Okay, sorry about that. Seed.
multitasking skills are
Yeah, see,
impressive.
I've got to like read the people chatting and to play this. Somehow my team won that match, so
Nice.
yeah, like um. Oh God, I just dodged my own teammate.
Did you ever see the show Caprica,
I don't think so. What's that about?
prequel to Battlestar Galactica?
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
Oh man, their internet was intensive. Like they would put on these glasses and say you could be playing this game, but you'd be feeling like you are actually that your character that you're playing right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, VR.
Oh, okay. That would be very stressful, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
it
already
was
have
cool.
enough anxiety just playing it like like this. Have you ever played any of those VR games where like you put the headset on and
No, I'm kind of wary because I've seen all the blooper videos on YouTube, people running into walls and stuff. But yeah, I am kind of interested in it because you know, total immersive stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, seems pretty cool.
It is fun. I've played a few games on it. Uh I get like motion sick though, like when I like ride a motor or like ride a roller coaster. So like sometimes these kinds of
Yeah,
games are like too fast for me.
yeah. I had some early
Ah,
age traumatic experiences with roller coasters. Ooh, you got, and it took me a while for me to enjoy them again. But
roller coasters?
yeah, yeah. When I think I was like 5 or 6, my dad took me on Magic Mountain there and
Oh, okay.
one of the Disney places, and I pretty much was begging my dad to make it stop for the entire.
Oh no. Was that I guess was that like a wooden coaster at the time?
I don't know if it was wooden or
Okay.
not, but
Wooden coasters. Oh, look, I was the MVP.
nice.
Jeez. I'm doing good tonight. You're like my good luck charm, Heart. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Last week I did horrible. Um, Seed the Mediocre says that them and their wife used to love playing Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. I'm sure that's a joke, but I'm not sure actually if it's actually a game. Tell me more about that in chat. Haven't I know, right, Sin? I think it's a joke. Um, let's see. Um, so what do you think of this game so far?
That's pretty cool. And I dig that it's like a first shooter, but it's not, you know, promoting war and glorifying war. You know, it's part of a game, a classic game that is more elaborate here. You know,
Yeah. It's I like this game because of well, I like all of like the graphics and the colors. I think it's fun. But they have like specialty modes that they come out with every now and then. Like this winter, they had a snowball fight mode.
no.
So instead of throwing dodgeballs, you were throwing snowballs, and it was just winter themed,
And
which is fun.
do people cosplay these characters?
I don't know. This is a fairly new game. The thing about these is they're all like customizable. So like here's I'll play with another one of my characters now.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, you can like completely customize your look. I'll show you after this match. Um, which is fun. Um, it would be fun to cosplay these. So this is my new character that I'm playing with in the middle there.
okay.
Got a big mohawk. All right. One person. Okay, Seed told us what the game was, but I can't read it right now. I'll read it in a second.
Oh, cool glider.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? So, and there's different kinds of dodgeballs. Um, so this match has the soda ball here, and
Okay.
when it hits, it explodes and blinds the blinds people for a minute. Um, it's my least favorite ball, but there are other balls. Um, there's one called a cage ball, and it like puts the character in a cage. Oh, this is a
Nice.
bomb ball. This one. Some of them are like that's another like mechanic of the game. It's kind of like
And like Mario Kart with the turtle shells.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Just like that.
Oh yeah, that was another game I played a lot back in the 90s and aughts.
Mario?
Yeah, Mario Super Kart. Like
Oh yeah.
uh, took me a while, but I finally started beating the guys that turned me on that game. Rainbow Road. I
Oh
was
yeah.
master of Rainbow Road, making
Oh
that
yeah.
first jump.
That's awesome.
Uh,
I I'm not so good. That's one of those games that have lasted several generations. Like my nephew, he's 4 and he's like, Auntie Yo-Yo, do you know about this game? And he's like, play with me, play this game. And I'm like, child, child. Do I know about this game?
I've been playing this game longer than you've been alive.
Yeah, like longer than your dad has been alive. That's my little brother. So it's funny. It's very funny. Also, one of the cool things about video games is that I think that they bring
Hmm.
people together. It's
Oh,
really cool that we can play online with people around the world now. That's
yeah,
really fun.
it's amazing how. Okay, I got a truth be told, I'm 46. So when I was young, I remember when Atari first came out and Pong, you know, and
Yeah,
how much it's from this right here to where Pong was is it's amazing.
yeah. Chris and I were just reminiscing about some of our favorite games from then. Um, and I was watching some YouTube videos of people playing um, some games I used to play on Sega. It was
Oh
so much
yeah.
simpler then. They were just like these side scrollers, You didn't have to. I
Hmm.
fell off the edge. Oh, I made it back.
Yeah, my friend got one of those new old Nintendo little boxes. Looks like the old set, but it has all the games on it, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
such an amazing throwback. Excite Bike, Bases Loaded, Ninja Gaiden,
So
course,
Hart, you are a gamer. We gotta
yeah,
get you on. We gotta get you on for some just gaming. Now that we know this, like you're gonna have to game with us. We'll get people on playing the Marvel game. Right? It's like a multiplayer situation, right? Or can it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm a leader of an alliance, X Force, and we're about to have a alliance war. Uh, it's titled that, I know, and
That's
actually,
awesome.
yeah, I was talking with one of our new members of like the word play of, we wish it wasn't war, like it could be like match or something,
Yeah.
uh, how it conflicts. And I'm about to kick a member off
Oh.
for non-participation. Plus, they got a red skull. You can pick
Oh.
uh, avatar, I guess,
Mhm.
or a face, and it's like uh, red skull Nazi. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm more mutant centric.
Yeah.
Comes to Marvel.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that. You like X-Men. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to see where that franchise goes.
Oh yeah.
Um.
Well, I mean, I was aware like the X-Men were the allegory for the civil rights movement back in the day with Professor X, MLK, Magneto, uh, Malcolm X, and how it's been embraced by the LGBTQ community. I mean, it just makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of
Uh,
the reasons why I've always loved X-Men is being a queer person. I just like love all of like the like how cool the weirdos are.
mhm.
um so that's always I've always loved X-Men for that. Um Sin said they really like the game Excite Bike. Did you mention that?
Oh yeah, Excite
Yeah.
Bike. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they said that they like it too.
And you could even back then you could build your own course, and I think I made mine just all the big jumps, a lot of the big jumps.
That's awesome. I love video games. Yeah, see the mediocre said it's not a good look to have a literal Nazi as your icon. Yeah, that's frustrating. That's also one of the frustrating things about playing online sometimes is that you get, you know, occasionally grouped with people who are not so nice.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that just kind of blows my mind of online culture, where people can just feel like they could say whatever because I don't know. When I was a kid, we didn't have that. So I mean, if you were going to say something like that, you had to deal with the immediate consequences. You know, fighting words. You know.
Right, exactly. Like you couldn't say like if you were playing real life dodgeball with people, you you had to be careful with what you said because they were right there. Now people like, and for someone like myself, like, you know, if they were to get beat by someone that sounded like a girl, it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over. It's all over. I'm gonna transition us to a screen now where they will be able to see you, but
Okay.
you're also going to see you and me on your screen too. Okay,
Yeah,
here we
you got
go.
my.
All right,
All
everybody,
right.
this is the voice you've been hearing. This is Hart. Hart, you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi, y'all. Hart Viges, uh, lifetime member of Veterans for Peace, About Face Veterans Against the War member, and I guess director of Sustainable Options for Youth, counter-recruiter.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you here with us. Um, hold on, I'm gonna put on background, turn off my game sound. Like sometimes it would be helpful to have a someone else around. doing it for you.
If
Good.
you got any massive attack or Portishead?
What was that?
You got any massive attack or Portishead?
Massive Attack, like the game?
Oh no, no music.
Oh yeah, I was just putting on some like elevator style music, but you want something something stronger?
Well, I mean, Massive Attack is. You ever listen to Massive Attack?
I guess not. No.
Oh, it's kind of it's kind of chill with
Okay.
an edge. Um, yeah, I think you'd
Yeah, I'll
like
have to look it up. What kind
it.
of so is it like instrumental? Is it like digital
Yeah,
music?
digital, like trip hop.
Okay.
They be
Yeah.
described trip hop. Because the EDM scene is so big in
Mhm.
England, they were the first ones to kind of do it with. I, I don't know. I don't want to downplay all the other EDM bands out there, but more substance, more um, introspectiveness.
Okay.
It's really good. I mean, another band, trip hop band from there, Bristol, England.
Okay.
Uh, both from the same place. Kind of an Anglophile.
All
Uh,
right.
uh, really dig English culture, at least the good parts.
Oh,
I
there's
read
a
that.
lot of good electronic music that comes out of Europe, especially like Sweden. I'll really there's a few of my favorite like DJs are from like that area.
Mhm.
So anyway, got a little off topic, but I love music. So um, anyway, so we're here with Hart. Hart, I kind of well, before we get into talking about some of the work you've done and some of the sustainable options for youth.
Yeah.
Could you, you were a veteran. You want to tell us, or you are a veteran. You want to tell us a little bit about, what, like, why you joined the military, and kind of when you got out, like, why you left, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Um, I was 9/11 baby.
Okay.
Listen, basic. 9/11 was the incident that spurred my joining, and I was joined 82nd Airborne Division, infantry, paratrooper, and yeah, that's what got me in there. And I was at the time I was Republican, conservative,
Okay.
and totally fully believed in the mission, you know, and be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were, um, did you deploy then? I guess at that time, right? Because you joined post 9/11.
Yeah,
Okay.
right after 9/11, um, I was part of OIF one
Okay.
in Iraq. Um, I actually thought I was going to be going to Afghanistan, but while I was in, that's when they started ramping up the uh, case for Iraq. And yeah, and '03 in March is when initial push into Iraq. Um, our unit battalion was initially going to jump into Baghdad airport, but Third ID was ahead of schedule and took Baghdad, so we drove in, and our first part was in Osamawa in the south, and I was surprised to see that battle had a wiki page, um, and then I was into Fallujah
Okay.
for about a month, and then Baghdad for the rest of the year that I was there.
Okay. So when did you get out?
I got out uh, back in '04. Um, I applied for conscious subjector
Okay.
when I was back, and was honorably discharged as such.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, your experience overseas kind of like flipped your mindset, would you say?
Yeah, well, it did flip it while I was over there, but when I came back, they didn't really tell us about the culture shock of coming back. Um, and I met an amazing woman, Alejandra Moe, um, who was a big influence to me. Um, and oddly enough, the Passion of the Christ, when I went to go see that movie.
I remember when that came out.
Um, and had to I had to really rethink uh, my position as a Christian. Um, what that meant, and so there's a thing called the ROE in the military, rules of engagement, and geez, and we all have our ROE, our
Hmm.
rules of engagement of how we deal and react to stuff, and I really had to come to a new conclusion that I couldn't be a part of that anymore, and it wasn't easy. It was to make that kind of quick change. You know,
Yeah.
uh, I had to during that whole conscious objective process, gave away all my war books. I really tried to stop making a fist.
Yeah.
You just shake it out, and uh, yeah, that was the finest 10 months of time in the army. Was that whole conscious objection process of interviews, and they actually moved me from my mortar platoon, infantry platoon, to chaplain assistant
Oh, okay.
to try to,
Yeah.
calm me down,
Uh-huh.
and really just help me get the conscious objection packet done. Um, I had to have like a 20 questionnaire, and set up appointments to uh, for interviews, and yeah, it all worked out.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that worked out for you. Yeah. That sounds stressful. Um, so then how long after that did you get involved in like counter recruitment and like peace activism?
Well, when I was going through my process, I became a member of Veterans for Peace, and I showed my membership card to my final investigating officer, interview. Uh, and then I moved to Austin, there from North Carolina, Fort Bragg, and uh, you know, heard about VFP rally there in Fayetteville, back in North Carolina, in Fayetteville, right outside of Fort Bragg is the town adjacent with it.
Okay.
So I drove back from Texas to North Carolina to attend this rally, and without really knowing anybody or anything about it. And when I walked into the staging area for the rally, and I, you know, uh, just met a litany of absolutely wonderful people that immediately embraced me. And back then, About Face was Iraq Veterans Against the War, and Mike Hoffman was the one who came over to me, and because I was wearing my DCU top,
Okay.
and so yeah, I just fell in love with the whole movement right then and there, and shortly, and that was the first meeting of Iraq Veterans Against the War
Okay.
there in Fayetteville, and I was part of that. And shortly after that, Camp Casey, with Cindy Sheehan bringing about half the BFP convention down to Crawford. It was happening in Dallas at the time, the convention, and being part of that just helped propel me uh, further in, and was part of this Bring Them Home Now tour from Crawford to DC, hitting about 15 cities, doing press, doing speaking engagements, and
Yeah.
that was, I think that was '06,
Okay.
'07. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got connected maybe through that work with sustainable options for youth.
Shortly thereafter, I was then president of the chapter there in Austin, and Susan Ben Hitzma came to one of our meetings to talk about the work. Back then, it was non-military options for youth,
Okay.
and she invited us to join the table, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds great." And yeah, and 10 years later, when I was still doing it, you know, is I'm really thankful to Susan for being bringing me into that. Um, yeah, the reason for that name change was uh, Bowie High School there in Austin is kind of the upper crust schools,
Okay.
and a parent called and complained that we were there. Apparently, one of the conservative students there called their mom and had the principal come over and uh, told us that we had to leave, that we were anti-military. And oddly enough, the JROTC group there were a regular at our table to debate, which I absolutely loved, because I mean, those were the kids that we needed to reach anyways. And they were there at the table when the principal came over to kick us out.
Oh, okay.
And JROTC students stood up for us, saying, no, they have a right to be here. Freedom of speech, freedom
Awesome.
of these, these were the things. And, we talked with the AISD lawyer afterwards and sorted everything out, but we figured that we needed to change our name because when you go into these schools, you go up to the front desk to check in, and when you say non-military options for youth, they hear that non-military and their listening skills shut down, and they, in that combativeness, and it could cause problems there. So we had a meeting and changed our names to Sustainable Options for Youth, and you know
Yeah.
stating the solution. That's why I like Veterans for Peace, because the solution is
In the title.
in the
Yeah.
name.
Same with
Because
Gamers for Peace. Yeah.
exactly,
Hmm.
it's of course, yeah, we're making our stance against what we're against, but if you don't have the solution there to follow it, just
Yeah.
negative. Um,
Um, Seed the Mediocre, our friend in chat, was saying that there's like this whole culture that's so nationalistic. That's like if you're anti-war, then you're anti-military, and then you're like anti your nation, right? But it kind of gets wrapped up in this bundle, and so like you're like lumped in with this like you're not patriotic because you're presenting non-military options to youth, right?
yeah. So yeah, I mean, communication is our game, and we must be constantly trying to grow and try to have some kind of a way to get our message across, kind of facilitate that change. But yeah, it was crazy because JROTC didn't talk to us for years after that. They didn't come to our table. Apparently, that caused such a stir that they were given orders to not. And I don't know, it took about 6 years before we were there at Bowie again. Like, we were there for every year, and they were marching. Where we're in the hall, there was windows to the outdoor area, and they were marching right there. And I was wearing my IVAW hoodie, and at our pull-up bar, back when I could do a lot of pull-ups, I kind of fallen out of favor of that, but I need to get back in. I just got on the pull-up bar, and I probably did more. I probably broke my own record there, just staring at them, doing pull-ups against the wall, just staring at them, just
Yeah.
And apparently, got some of their attention, and we had about 3 or 4 of them come visit our table, and you know, get one of our shirts, and it was good. It was good. Uh, Being here in Flagstaff, I feel I think I just need to get back to Austin. I know this COVID situation is really definitely put a hamper down on the access to schools, and but
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do this here, right? Yeah, like one of the main things that we've noticed is and why Gamers for Peace came to be is that less and less recruiters were like going into and
mhm,
or the malls or wherever they used to be, and now they're um you know the US military has their own TikTokers, and they have their own Twitch esports streamers, and they have and these they're just chatting with young people online, like,
mhm.
and you don't know, and like the it's hard, I think, for even myself, having grown up at the transition to like the internet. It's still hard for me to wrap my head around like how immersed young people are in the internet, right? Like they just grew up not knowing anything else, and so this is how they communicate with people, right? So and the military knows that. They're like, oh, we know we're gonna infiltrate their games, we're gonna infiltrate their social media, we're gonna infiltrate. We don't even have to go to the schools anymore, you know. We're just gonna catch them online where nobody's watching them, you know.
Yeah, I was reading about that in the Army Times when they have articles on recruitment. I was, I'm always, looking forward to seeing those things, because to know their strategy is the best way to be able to counter it. And they were talking about that for years of getting into it, and that's what they did. I mean, sponsoring esports events and everything. It's because
Yeah,
the word they use is saturation,
yeah,
and so we need to saturate as well, and make sure they don't own the narrative, because they
yeah.
don't tell you about the suicide rate. They don't tell you about the military sexual trauma rate. You know, they
No, they
don't.
don't.
They don't. Hit all the points that uh, the full spectrum of military experience. So.
Um, so when you're in the schools, like, what are some of the things that you're like, you know, talking to students about? Like, don't join
Mhm.
the military. Here are some other options. I think I have a little anecdote. Um, I grew up in a pretty like poor community, and my high school has um like a 60% graduation rate. Like it's pretty
Mhm.
low. So like there was like no, not a lot of people coming in like sustainable options for youth, and showing us all the possibilities that we could engage in. But I will tell you, I just found this box recently. My mom kept them all. I got letters and medals and like all of these things from like every branch of the military. That was like I was a really good student. I was like super good student, and a good athlete, or like on the athletics. So like I got all these letters and medals that were like um, U.S. Marine Corps Student Honor, or like U.S.
So,
Army, like all these like things that were like, you were a great student, you should join the military, right? Like, we want
mhm.
you, you're amazing. Here's all these like certificates, and it's very weird. I just found this whole box. Like, I wasn't in JROTC. I didn't like apply. I didn't join, but all of these options were right in front of me at the time that I was graduating. There was like these people thought I was amazing. And so I didn't like, how what are you telling, the youth in the school, like as different options when like the military sounds like a good option to me at the time.
Well, there's course continuing college education,
Okay.
um, fire department, um, Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, uh, basically anything that just feeds creation. You know, if, or just trying to empower them on the dreams that they had. Also before the army, of like being an artist, or anything that they were interested in. Just giving them a push in that direction. Uh, Basically what we, yeah, I saw that Navy Pokemon Go comment. Yeah, that blows
You
my
remember
mind.
that?
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. They really try to press everything. Well, in the schools, you say the war, racism, greed, sexism, ecocide, identifying those five evils, and try to, you know, show all the examples in our society of where war, racism, greed, sexism, and ecocide shuts down, but also telling them about peace, liberation, equity, justice, and education, and examples of that, and how that fights. Um, because each kid's, not every kid's going to want to fight militarism. They want to fight sexism where it's at, or racism where it's at, ecocide, greed. Uh, so you just try to like kind of give them in that direction of fighting those social ills. Um, I also had a penny pull where each kid had 10 pennies and 5 jars of military, education, healthcare, environment, and NASA. And I'd say, Madam Senator, Mr. Senator, you decide where the tax money goes. And they'd vote on it. And, education, healthcare jars would be the top 1 and 2. And then I tell them the reality of it. We had a sheet from the War Resistor League, make great pie chart sheets, and show the reality of it. About half of all these pennies are in the military jar. This is why you don't have free college education. You don't have free health care for everybody. Not
Yeah.
your grandma. I'd say your grandma doesn't have to worry about her medication prices, and that would hit them.
Yeah.
Uh, and then talk about the 5 rights in the First Amendment: speech, press, assembly, freedom of religion, and petition your government for grievances. I mean, that's your ROE of change, of freedom of speech, assembly. You need to be able to organize, press. Make flyers. I mean, that's our bread and butter.
Yeah, so it's like really about like educating, like because I don't think I had a lot of really good teachers who really taught me some of those things. So which is why I didn't end up joining the military. But a lot of students don't have that. So like you're probably the first time any of them have realized
Mhm.
that most of our taxpayer money goes to the military and not towards things like healthcare and education. Like you're probably the first person like breaking that down and showing that to them. And I think the cool thing is that most young people understand that. Like when you tell them, they understand it and they want to do they want to help, right? And they want to do something, but nobody's showing them how they can help, like what they can do to help. So do you give them like options for like here are ways to like help this issue instead of joining the military?
Yeah. Well, okay. So continuing college education, um, fire department. Uh, I wish I was looking to get organizational. Um, well, I mean, of course, our group can't really recruit for Veterans for Peace in the schools
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
they're not veterans, and I don't want them to be veterans. even though associate members is a part of it, and Civ Soul is a big part of About Face. It's and poor poor people.
Yeah, the Poor
Oh,
People's Campaign.
yes, I would talk about Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
Um, you know, and but I was wish I have a flyer for them. I usually have stickers. I get my own Black Lives Matter stickers and have that. But yeah, I would love that. That's something that I wish to grow at the table, to have a representative from the Poor People's Campaign, a representative from BLM,
Yeah.
uh, an environmental group. That way, if they want to fight racism,
Yeah.
I could be like, well, here's this person, or if they want to fight ecocide, this person. If you want to join the military, you need to talk to me. Um, to have that kind of full spectrum, like Justice League kind of,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, of all these different heroes from from land, sea, air, every
Yeah.
you know there is definitely one step that need to grow.
Well, to be honest, even the fact that you're like mentioning some of those things to youth give them the opportunity to look things up, right? Because they have access to so much information. And I think when I was in high school, so I think about like the sunrise movement right now. Like
Okay.
all these young people, right? Like just like amazing. Like I imagine that if I had any inkling that these things were happening around me, that there was a way that I could get involved in some sort of social activism in that way, that I would have done it. But like I didn't have the access to the internet yet. And I didn't know. Like there was nobody like coming around being like, you could help your community by engaging in this or this or this. And so I had to like figure it out on my own. And the only thing I knew was you have to go to college and you have to learn something before you can help anybody,
Yeah.
right? And that was
Yeah.
like the only thing I knew. So I think it's awesome that there's just even, people going around being like, did you even know that you
Hmm.
could do this, right? Like you could join Sunrise Movement if you want, right? And be a part of that.
I think we had Sunrise Movement at our table,
Yeah.
uh, in flyer capacity, and it was such an amazing work because you see the eyes widen. You see the reaction happen right there, and it's, it's such. I just wish you know we were in every school, had that kind of resources to do that. You know.
I'm going to read a couple of the comments from our chat. We have a few people watching us. So, CB Mediocre said, we don't have free healthcare or free college for two simple reasons. It keeps people enlisting and it lets corporations control us.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so, like, it's by design, right? This
Mhm.
that we have. And then Chris St. Marchin, welcome to the chat, um, mentioned that during the War of 1812, commands turned the burning of Washington into a reason to reenlist. So like we just like keep using like war to like propagate the reason why we should keep doing war, right? Or like and then Sin asks, do you, Hart, do you offer like mutual aid or community aid based options as alternative to college or joining the military? When you're chatting with youth, like do you talk about like community aid options that they could access?
Uh, I don't remember having that, or where I could find it. It was definitely a thing because I think it was about 15 schools there in Austin that we'd go to, and not every school, like, you really had to be aware of where you were, because some schools you could be like, in that five rights in the First Amendment question, you mean, oh, just look on your phone. You can't say that in every school. because yeah, there was one day where I misstepped and said, "Oh, just look on your phone," and the kid just looked defeated.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't have that,
yeah.
and
Uh,
uh, you know, and yeah, that's definitely something that I definitely need to take note of and try to build up on because yeah, not every kid has that right away to college education. Even though Austin had like a really great community college system there, Austin Community College has multiple campuses across the town, and it's affordable, but still, excuse me, uh, you know, when you're part of the working poor, that $300 is massive. You know, uh, yeah, I do need to take a note. I'm sorry, I don't
no,
feel
that's okay. That's like
different.
one of the things that I'm actually looking to see if we can get somebody on to talk about during this segment sometime. Because it's something I would like to learn more about. There are a lot of community resources that because they don't have the funds to like advertise or like go out or like um you know it, we don't know about them, but like they exist. Um, I am fortunate enough to have received a lot of like community aid when I was a young person, which allowed me to like get to college, right? So like I was in a program that helped me like go on college tours, right? So they would like actually like drive me there and like do help me get that set up. They would pay for my college applications. They would help with all of those things, which I'm very fortunate to have had. And I think if we can like find those things
Yeah,
and help boost them, because I think that that's one of the main reasons a lot of students join the military, right? Because it's like you don't have to pay to join. You don't have to
yeah,
pay to apply. You just like show up and they're like, "Okay, cool." And then you get food and money and a place to live, and for a lot of young people that's like all they want. So like
mm,
finding ways like if I didn't go to college, like I don't know where I would have gone, like where I would have lived, you know. So like I think trying to find some of those resources for students so that they don't feel like they have to as soon as they graduate in order to like get out of their house or get out of wherever they are is to join the military.
yeah. And that comment about redlining still exists is
Oh
very
yeah.
true,
Mhm.
and that's how racism feeds militarism. You know, I mean, they're all interconnected. War, racism, greed, sexism, ecocide. They all feed each other, and they all
Yeah.
feed. And it is to fight against racism and redlining, to fight for free healthcare and free college education is a roundabout way of fighting militarism.
Right. Right, exactly. Finding ways for people to get access to other resources will inherently decrease
Yeah,
enlistment, which, like Seed the Mediocre said earlier, is exactly why we don't have those things. Because if people could go to college, then they wouldn't join the military, right?
exactly. Yeah, at least not in the great numbers. I mean,
Hmm.
the army knows that too, and they've said that in these articles. Like recruiting is low when the job market's doing well. So it's they're aware of that fact as well, and it's yeah.
So, what is so you joined the military not like right out of high school, like
No,
a lot of people do. Um, what is something that you like wish you would have known beforehand that maybe would have, um, like swayed your decision to join?
oh, uh, to know that we were going to expand the war to Iraq, because like I said, I was 9/11. I was going to go after the people who, you know, perpetrated that act, or at least who I thought was going to, do that act. That's a mixed bag right there. But I don't know. I mean, 9/11 just had us all in a daze. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I had some voices telling me don't join, but I doubt that anything would have stopped me. I mean, I was heavily recruited uh, when I was in high school. I was getting calls almost every night from the Marines or the Army at the house. Um, I just wasn't. I just felt like I couldn't make it at that time. You I tried to join the Air Force. I think a couple years after that, but I was taking I took Accutane for my acne, and
Okay.
that nixed me.
Oh,
At
okay.
I went to reps. Um, is it reps? Oh my, MEPS, um, and they said they didn't want me. Yeah, MEPS.
Mm,
Uh, uh, yeah, um, but yeah, 9/11 was such a mind wash
yeah.
that you know I don't think anybody could have stopped me from joining after
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Um, I think it because we have like a military that's just like prolific and huge all the time for no reason, even when we're like not in conflict, that like it does seem like a like romantic option
Mhm.
to join, right? Like if you're not likely to go see combat or like, why not? Right? Like why not join and like go to boot camp and then like hang out on a base for a few years and then now you have healthcare and college and all of that stuff. But like, you know,
I think it's inherent in our nature,
yeah.
to face death, to become a grown up. And you know, I've heard of cultures in South America where you got to lay on a fire ant bed for an hour, or the Maasai in Africa where you have to go hunt a lion with a spear to become a man, to become a grown up. And we've all kind of, in all cultures, kind of had that kind of test to come into adulthood, and we don't really have that anymore. I mean, the thing we have is military, where you transform yourself. You get a new name. You get a new identity, and it's like high school football doesn't, or sports kind of touches on that, but that whole
But
aspect of,
anybody can join the military, right? Like,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
mostly anybody.
yeah. And I just use football, but I mean, there's all sports. Softball,
Yeah.
volleyball, track. Um, you know,
But I think
and
it's interesting that you do mention sports because for a lot of like marginalized communities, right? Like you're like that is like the draw, right? Of like either going to college, becoming a professional athlete, joining the military, all of those things are, like you said, about this like breaking free of something and becoming something more. And so I think it's really awesome that Sustainable Options for Youth talk about ways to get involved, like understanding your government, understanding what's happening, understanding how you can be active in like social activism, right? So you can help people and be noble and reinvent yourself in this like other way that is helpful to people and helpful to your community as opposed to like destroying communities around the world, right? You know?
and in sports, I've always been a fan of sports, and you know, I love talking to them about resistance in sports, or just the transformative nature of sports. I think it was the Ivory Coast was going through a civil war. I think this was in the aughts, and their soccer team made it to the World Cup, and it stopped the war because
Yeah.
they had played both the North and the South on the team, and they needed to come together to root for their team, and it stopped the goddamn civil war in Africa. I mean, there's the classic Christmas truce in World War One, but I love talking about like or just track and field, the shot put, the javelin. These were all war games. Where there was a time where okay, no war is going to happen, but all the warriors are going to get together and see how far you can throw that rock,
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
how high you can jump, how fast you can run, how long you can jump. Um, and those Olympic Games, track and field comes from war, but from that time when let's just transform war into sport
Yeah.
and settle our differences that way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, lacrosse was invented by women who got tired of their men dying in war, so they invented. Um, at the time, it was called the Little War, um, and it was the same kind of game of a stick and a ball, and they would play the game for like a week or days or however long the battle would be. They transformed war into a game
Yeah.
to end war.
Yeah.
You know, it's it has that such great potential. That's why it bites at me how they've militarized sports,
Yeah.
especially with American football, with the military flyovers and the la di
And like
da.
the, you know, flags and the national anthem and the, yeah. And we're seeing the same thing happening in video gaming, and that's why I mentioned earlier, like when I first started like getting into gaming, I was like, this is so cool that I could play with I studied abroad in China, so I thought it was cool that I could connect with people like around the world, like I could play. But it and so now it's just like it's this militarized thing, and the army's all, the military's all in it, and it's all like aggressive, and um because we've like co-opted it in that way. We've turned it into this thing instead of it being about like building community and like how cool is it that I can play video games with people around the world? Why does it have to be militarized in that way?
Yeah, yeah. When I was playing chess on this site, it was an international site, and you could set up tournaments. And so I set up tournaments between uh, U.S. veterans, people from Iraq, Palestine, and Israel. And so they all had to play each other, and
Hmm.
you write text and stuff. And one of the games between the Israeli and an Iranian, the Israeli messaged the Iranian like, "Are you allowed to talk to me? Are you free in your country?"
Mm.
And the Iranian replied, "Of course I'm free in my country. Are you allowed to talk to me?" And they had this conversation where, I mean, two people that talk about major differences. I mean, even to this day, like Iran and Israel, like to have citizens from those nations just talk to each other. And I really think that's the where war happens, when communication breaks down and nobody's talking.
Yeah.
If I mean, just have a conversation. The ability to have a conversation is so powerful. Uh, you can break through so many walls and prejudiceness.
Yep, that word. No,
And
I think that that's what's great about talking to like like young people, right? Like because they get it, right? Like you just talk to them, like they just take in all the information. They don't have these like years of like inherent biases, right? Like already built up. They're fresh, they're learning about themselves and they're learning about the world, and if you give them the truth, if you tell them the information, they will take it.
Hmm.
Because they can see through bullshit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sometimes I'd get invited by teachers to speak to classes, and there was one teacher at Travis High there in Austin, whose husband was a recruiter, and so she had her husband come and talk to the class one week, and then I came the following week to talk to him. It was a communication class on, like, two different ideas, and when I told him that I wasn't paid to do this, you know,
Mhm.
I could be out there making money right now. It hit him hard, like, uh, and you can communicate stuff to, I mean, and they could feel BS,
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
can read. You can't,
Yeah, you can't fool the kids.
yeah, most of the time. It's like, so, that was one of the best. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many working in the schools. There's so many great
Yeah.
memories uh, that are created from there because, yeah, there's nothing. It's the best thing I've ever done.
It's so like hopeful, right?
Hmm.
That's what I find. Like I've done like career days at schools, and I remember I did one in this one school, and on the career day it was sort of like we as the presenters like rotated to various classrooms. So
Hmm.
like the students got to see all of the presenters, and there was like an engineer, police officer, like some scientists, like doctors, like and then there was me, and at the time I was practicing as an art therapist,
Hmm.
and like at the end they filled out this like evaluation, and their top two favorites, not to toot my own horn, was me, the art therapist, and like the marine biologist. And the
Nice.
reasons that they liked it is because like we were engaging, we told them the truth about our profession, like like we're like this is how hard it was, this is like, and like the least favorites were like the police officer, or like all of the ones that like typically
Yeah.
are like the ones that everybody loves, because like they see through the bullshit, right? Like they know when you're being genuine, they know if you love your job or if you're just here like as a robot. you know they get it.
Yeah. When I started doing college career fairs there, I mean, seeing the police there, all the different law enforcement agencies there, along with all the military, was a bit disheartening. I didn't know the police recruited in high schools, and that's why we have the War Resistor League flyer. So you want to be a cop, we have to. That's one of the also other things that we address. Oh, that's from you. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's okay, I did anyway. Just asking the chat if anybody wanted to ask you any final questions before we wrap up, but you can keep talking.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I love the college career fairs because all the other good tables from like the other schools and other organizations is where you can also get the sustainable options part. And I'd always walk around there and restock our table, and you know we had a pretty good popular table going on with our pull up bar, penny
Yeah, with
pull.
your games and stuff.
We were pressing other tablers, so we were like, hey, we want your stuff on our table. They were more than happy, just give it, get it
Yeah.
for free. But the best way to leave, once you decide you don't want to join. Oh, say that question again. I'm
All right, I'll
sorry.
read it to you. So it says, what is the best way to get recruiters to leave you alone once you've decided you don't want to join? So like as a student, or someone who's being actively recruited.
Oh yeah, well, even like a delayed entry program. that was a big thing of where they tell these kids that they are legally bound to join.
Yeah.
We'd give them the GI Rights hotline card
Okay.
and tell them straight up, like, you are not legally bound to join. And during one college career fair, they went over the depths. We had 3 depths. Went over to the Army table, told them they're not joining, and pointed to us like they told us. Oh, so fucking
That
powerful.
must feel so good to like watch.
Yeah. Uh, but there's also stories of, like, this recruiter fooled a police officer. The kid said he didn't want to join and brought the police over to his house and freaked out the kid. And when the police officer found out what was going on, was pissed off at the recruiter. But yeah, it's
Oh
tough.
man.
To
Wow.
have a strong resolution, have a strong backing. If you're being harassed by a recruiter, um, I don't know. Tell them you could call the cops on them. Tell them you're being harassed. Tell them you're, I don't know, just going to call the news station and tell them you're being harassed unwantonly. Um,
Do you talk with students about how they can get their names off like contact lists? Because schools can
yeah,
provide information to recruiters. Like
yeah.
this.
It's in that big file that the parents get at the beginning of the year with all that paperwork. The At least they have that in Austin, where you can opt out of that No Child Left Behind Act, which I think is still Bible, which gives all the recruiters
Okay.
all this contact information. You can opt out.
Okay.
It's in that initial packet of papers, and if it's not there to opt out, then you need to probably call the school administration or the school board.
Okay.
It was amazing how powerful the school board there in Austin was, or just contacting them about. I remember one school was giving me the runaround to schedule a table because there was a new principal there from not from Austin, from Williamson County up north of Austin, which is rabidly conservative as a reactionary to the liberalness of Travis County, Austin.
Okay.
He walked by our table and was like, "How can you guys be here? Like, is this allowed even?" And we're like, "Yes, new person." So the next semester, when scheduling table, she was giving me the runaround. So I just go to the school board at their open meeting and give some words of, "Hey, can you just tap this principal on the shoulder and say, hey, we have a legal, clause where we are right there with the recruiters, and or at least access wise." And next day got school from Austin High. Oh, when's we need. I never got a call from the school saying when is our next table going to be,
Uh-huh.
and got a call from the uh, the the principal of high schools for AISD, Austin Independent School District.
Okay.
Go and talk to him, and I thought I was going to get chewed out, but he was like, "Hey, just want to let you know everything's all right. We support you. Please just contact me before you go talk to the school board."
Yeah.
It's all about who you talk to. Can really start a fire going. And if that school board was very open to us. When Susan Ben Hitzma, who I spoke of earlier, who brought me in, she drafted up uh, this thing where if recruiters uh, try to get the contact information from the students, uh, to get them penalized. They can't do that anymore.
Oh, like at the tables, like they can collect. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, they can't
Okay.
collect students'
Oh,
contact.
okay.
They could give their business card to the student, but they can't try to get their contact information. And she
Are they?
cited
Okay.
cases of sexual assault
Oh, wow.
of recruiters on to the students. And it was a school board member at that meeting who was like, "We need to put some teeth on this." And she put in if a recruiter does this, they can be banned from the school. They will be
Okay.
banned from the school, which got passed and was awesome. Now the next step is cultivating sustainable options for groups within the schools. Have a teacher, have a school club uh, to where they can watch that and track that because in college career fairs, Susan would walk around to all the military tables and see the list of students' contact information.
Yeah.
Tell them you can't do that, and then be like, oh, it's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
no, no, no. We need an element in the schools that is always watching for that, tracking that, documenting that, and
Yeah.
that recruiter kicked out of the school. That's another next step. But forgot really where exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about how to get off, like how to stop being contacted by recruiters. And
Yeah,
that's interesting that you're saying that, like, I didn't even know that they weren't allowed to do that. Because I think back to, I mean, how many times have
that,
I written my name and email address on like
yeah.
a table,
Well,
you
I
know?
think I mean Austin may not be the only place, but in Austin they're not allowed to do
Okay,
that
so, okay.
because of the work we did with the school board,
Yeah,
which is also yeah. I mean, yeah, there is that working in the schools, but you also need to work with the school board to try to
yeah,
enact stuff to make it difficult for the recruiters to do their jobs because, like I said, full spectrum.
yeah. I think that that's something that also is helpful in reaching students is like, uh, we don't you don't sign all of your own paperwork when you're starting high school. Usually the parent is supposed to. And so like you don't even know sometimes like what like the school like you don't even know what the school's information is allowed to share with other people. Like even for example in Pennsylvania, 14-year-olds have um, rights over their medical and mental health treatment. So, like, if
Mhm.
they wanted to seek mental health treatment, but their parents, like, for example, didn't want them to, like, go to therapy, they could, consent to going to therapy if they were 14 years older without parents' rights. But a lot of students don't even, like, a lot of young people don't know that they can do that, so they don't even go get therapy or something. So I think it's helpful to, like, let young people know what their rights are, like that they can say no, that they can opt out, that they can, ask the school to take them off a list or something like that. Like, I don't think they know that they have that agency sometimes.
So, I mean, it's definitely powerful because those recruiters were pissed off with
I
their
bet.
death.
I bet.
And I went over because before I was talking to them friendly. They came over to our table and I was like, oh, hey. And I've talked to recruiters before, never in an adversarial way. It's always been like, I see an 82nd patch on somebody and my inner veteran self of 82nd fanaticism, 82nd airborne. All right. How you doing, man?
Hmm.
Just talk. I mean, they're my brothers and sisters, even though we're on two different sides now, but I will always see them as my brothers and sisters. And so always chat them up, and they don't really quite know who we are, too. They're like, well, what's this? Oh, sustainable options for youth. Oh, okay, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And I went over to those recruiters that we took 3 depths from, and they were very hesitant to shake my hands. There were about 5 of them. I got 4 out of 5 handshakes. Uh, I just said to them, "Hey, y'all, play the game, play the game," which was a saying in the army when it was used as something like if you're given a shit job or a shit order, you just follow it without any hesitation because you just play the game, play the game. They would say that to us all the time when I was in. So I just brought it back to them. Play the game.
Yeah.
Like you can't lie to these kids. And when the first time I moved away from Austin and came back, at a table in the school. Recruiters were walking the halls, and I was wearing my veteran hat, OIF veteran hat, and he saw me, and he was having a very nervous telephone conversation. Like, because they don't want us veterans in the schools telling all their dirty
Oh
secrets.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, that is their worst nightmare. And if we could just put an anti-war vet in the schools,
Yeah.
it was back when we started, when our table didn't have a piece wheel, didn't have a penny pole, didn't have a pull-up bar. It was just flyers and fortune cookies. We didn't have T-shirts, we didn't have stickers. It was flyers and fortune cookies. Bush era. Uh, there was an article in the paper about military recruitment, and it said it was very difficult because there's a strong counter-recruitment movement in Austin. It didn't cite us by name, but we were just, it was the most, and then we do more. I mean, so to fight militarism at its root, counter-recruitment in the schools or in the games, this is the front line of militarism that we are both battling right now.
Yeah.
And that's what they fear the most, because if they can't get people to join, they can't do war. I mean, that's one of the biggest resources is people and money. Now, money is the hard target. It's hard to go after these corporations that are making. I mean, we need lawyers and hackers to go after them.
Yeah.
People is their most precious resource
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
military.
Absolutely.
And we can definitely put a dent into that with counter recruitment in the schools, in the gaming area, in sports. Like, I sponsored a youth softball team that I coached in Texas, like 10, 11, 12 age softball team, and sponsored them with Veterans for Peace on the back of their jerseys.
Nice.
I wish I spent more, because then you could put a placard out there. Because like now, even in kids sports, they're wearing camouflage uniforms, and it's like, yes, we need to sponsor youth teams, get in the schools, getting these gamer platforms. I mean, counter recruitment is it's not just tabling. Counter recruitment is a wide spectrum of activities that if we just, the peace movement just zero down in on, we can create more change than walking the streets. Now, I'm not trying to say that we should stop protesting.
Oh yeah.
But for effectiveness and efficiency, counter recruitment's where it's at.
Yeah, I agree. I think like you take away their cannon fodder. Right? They're not enlisting anymore. So how do you keep justifying the amount of money and what you're doing? Like, there's nobody joining. I mean, that's the goal, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's these AI robots, they're getting more advanced, and I imagine the future of warfare is probably going to be all land drones. I mean, started air drones, now they're doing land drones, or AI, where they won't need that many people. But
well, they're gonna need people to make the things and operate the things. It'll just probably shift the way, right? Like the same reason we have people, instead of flying actual planes, they're sitting somewhere in Creech Air Force Base piloting something that's flying somewhere else around the world.
Yeah. I mean, even with that, it's drone stickers. Drones. Yeah, I made a drone sticker that I'm sorry, some of my work, sorry.
That's okay.
Banksy and Yes Men are two of my models in stuff. Because I mean, in libraries, in the kid book section, they got books on drones, military drones, for readers, beginning readers. you know, that needs to be addressed. That needs to be messed with.
I just saw
Yeah.
a new movie on like Netflix or something that's coming out that's called like Seal Force or something like that. Seal Team. It's called Seal Team, and it's about
Okay.
seals, like
Yeah.
the animal. It's a cartoon, and it's about
Mhm.
seals who form a military to like fight off some sharks. So it's and of course it's seals, and it's supposed to
Mhm.
be like this cute thing, like the seals are protecting their because the sharks are trying to eat them, but it's turned into this big military thing, and it's marketed to what, like 5, 6, 7-year-olds
Yeah.
who are watching cartoon seals weaponize themselves to fight sharks. It's just,
They hear about the Navy
and
SEALs.
yes, and then they grow up and they're like, SEAL team is a thing,
Yeah.
right? You know, it's, yeah.
Well, GI Joe. I was big kid watching GI Joe. It's one of my favorite cartoons and toys. And now at Walmart, they're bringing out the old 1980s GI
Hmm.
Joes toys, which I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed too, and advertising stickers on them with realities of suicide and military
Yeah.
sexual, and
The
like,
realities of war,
you know,
right?
what did it say that it found 90% of drone kills are innocent men, women, and children. 90%. Put that on a drone, and the Army and Marines are making their own toys too,
Mhm.
drone pilots and all sorts of stuff. That you usually find those at the dollar store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got to
Anywhere with,
make some peace-oriented video games and some other kinds of toys that are not focused around warfare.
yeah, I mean they got those, but when they sit next to the war toy.
I know, that's why we have this cool logo, right?
Yeah.
So like I imagine like, you know, at some sort of gaming convention, there's like the military table that's like all camouflaged and like angry looking, and we've got these like cool logos with like hot pink and
Yeah,
like neon blue, and
yeah,
that's a vision I see. I'm like, which one would a kid want to go to? Probably like the flashy hot pink, blue,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Not the camouflage
I,
over there.
I dig that logo. I dig that logo.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, we got to put ourselves right next to them.
Oh, Sin, don't say that.
Not
Military
even
email.
not even 8 years up in Walmart in the 3-year-old, 3 to 5-year-old toy aisle. Sometimes you'll find military toys starting at age 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, they target real old.
The what I've been trying to do, because I have some nieces and nephews, is that there's a lot of but like children's books and toys out there that are becoming more focused in like activism and social justice and things like that. So when I'm always the weirdo aunt that's coming in with like, you know, oh, here's the crazy social justice book for the 3-year-old. And
Yeah,
it's like teaching them about like activism and things, because I'm so afraid that they're gonna grow up and only see these kinds of things. So I make it a point to get them other stuff.
yeah. There's been some comics. DC had a comic that was really hit on uh, politics of like racism, poor people's campaigns, and stuff. Oh my gosh, a
Oh,
couple of them.
yeah. There was a one that I saw recently. I wanted to like look up. Yeah, the Marvel's got some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean X-Men, that whole storyline. I mean, it hits more often than not. And then knowing about the history, a lot of women were involved in editors and stuff in the X-Men from like the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
the 70s and 80s. That's why like this Storm storyline of losing her powers was so powerful and whatnot. Um, and now like Marvel is coming around where more creators are women or people of color, and and non-cis.
Mhm.
Yes, is that a thing?
Yeah, sure.
Non-cis.
Yeah. I like it.
Uh, you know, uh, and then just like the development of like say Iceman, a classic, one of the first X-Men. He came out as gay. You know,
Yeah.
more inclusionary in creators in the creators as well as the characters.
Yeah, I'm definitely uh over the last few years have found a lot of media that I feel like is just becoming more inclusive and representative, which I think is one of those things that is helpful um in preventing militarism just in general. Yeah. It's just like all around, right? All of these things, right? Anything
Yeah.
you can do if you can help in any of these avenues, you are helping decrease
Um,
militarism, right?
and I remember working at a call center, and this was back in Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and this young woman was asking me, he's like, she's going to protest Don't Ask, Don't Tell to allow gay people to join openly. And I
Mhm.
was, oh, that's kind of counter to what I don't want anyone to join, you know? But
Mhm.
the military is oddly enough kind of a step, a little, I mean, I wouldn't say a step ahead, but more inclusionary, surprisingly, because now trans are able
Yeah, now anybody can die for their
yeah.
country. They're like, we're so inclusive. We want you to die for us too. Right. Um,
Yeah, it's tough. It's like, but oh man,
um, so it's been such an engaging conversation. I think we could probably talk forever. We'll have to have you on like, I don't know, you should try one of our other shows. We've got a few other shows that happen throughout the week that are pretty interesting. But any
it's,
final words on, something that you might want to say to young people or people like us who are doing activism for counter recruitment? You have any final words?
well, for the activists, self care,
Yeah.
and for any youth that watch this, you know, war, racism, greed, sexism, ecocide, these are all supervillains. If you really want to be a superhero, anyone who fights war, racism, greed, sexism, or ecocide, if that's a supervillain, you automatically become a superhero. Which side do you want to be on?
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think like, you've got all the options, right? You don't have to be an anti-war activist. You could be a anti-ecocide activist, which is the same thing, right? Because the
Yeah,
military is committing ecocide.
yeah, the biggest polluters, the military,
um,
Right?
we have like a little mentorship program that we've been sort of cultivating in our online communities. So people who are interested can join our Discord, and you can tag a mentor if you want to ask questions about any of the things Hart and I talked about today. Somebody in the Discord will be glad to help you because that's what we do. We're trying to educate people on all the
Cool.
different options, and you're one of the many guests who are we're hoping to talk to you about all of the different options that we have. Um,
Cool. I need to get on that Discord. I got that in that email of yours.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a really great community. So we have like some. Do you use Slack or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm on About Faces Slack.
So it's kind of like Slack. Discord is kind of
Okay.
like Slack, but we have lots of other kind of community engagement. Like we have people talking about like their plants and their pets and the foods they cook and like just like building community. And then we also play a lot of video games. So you should get in because I'm sure there are people who want to play those video games with you that you play. Like
Yeah,
I know that Sin played that Marvel game for a little while, so maybe we could get some of those games going.
I'll make some room in my alliance. There's some non-active players. Get some
Yeah,
active
kick
players.
out the Nazi and bring in
Yeah.
a gamer for peace.
All right. Cool.
um,
Cool. Well, yeah. For any future things, just send me an email, time, date, and link. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll let. There's a bunch of other shows that we do that maybe you could be a guest on because it's fun. I think it's fun. Anyway, um, I'm gonna play a little bit more of my game
Okay.
because I like to sandwich game at the beginning and end because it's Twitch and
Good.
but you don't have to stay on and chat with me while I'm doing that if you don't want to. But you're more than welcome to. But I'm just gonna
Uh,
play.
no, it's fine. I'm gonna take a bathroom break.
Okay,
I'll be
cool.
back.
So you're gonna hang around or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll hang around.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch to my gaming screen so they won't be able to see you anymore. Okay.
All
But
good.
we can hear you. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hart.
Be right back. Thanks.
Okay. I'm gonna play some more Knockout City. I don't know what that new this ball crawl. Uh, Every game features a set special ball loadout. I don't know. That doesn't sound too interesting. It doesn't sound any different than like a normal game. KO City Tour. Back to the station. I don't really like that line there, but okay. I don't know. I don't think I fully understand that one. So I'll just play. Got anybody on? Alright, let's play some now. Thanks for joining us, Seed the Mediocre and Pacifist War Vet. And we had Sin and oh somebody else. What was their name? Something Chris ain't marching. Thanks for that today. Out. Oh, I need to turn my sound. Other music. Music is so chill and does not pair with this game, but that's okay.
I would have. I used to do amateur sport fighting in Texas.
What what is that? Like MMA or?
Point karate, point fighting,
Okay, interesting.
and I had Massive Attack and Wu Tang mix. I would
Nice.
listen to before, and it would just put me right in my mind where
Ah.
the oh, yeah, got.
Yeah, I got. That's cool. Oh, thanks for joining the Discord, Seed. Um, Finn, I don't know if I can like put all of your business out there, but Sin knows a little bit of karate, like more than a little bit.
What's
um,
that?
I don't know too much. I know that they did jujitsu.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't know too much about the subject. But they were very good in their youth.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
Chris says, "What karate federation league did you compete in?"
the AOK Association of Karate. It's in the AOK um, in Texas. Uh, very amateur though. We'd have some pros sometimes come into our tournament and
Oh,
tear stuff up. But
Chris says, "Shuri Tay is what they're traditionally trained in, and what they
sure,
competed in, probably primarily." Did I say it
yeah.
wrong? Shuri Tay.
I don't know. I never heard that. I was Tang Soo Do,
Oh,
Korean,
okay.
but in the federation in the AOK, you have Taekwondo, Shotokan, uh, all sorts of, even some kung fu practitioners would be in it, but I always liked their forms more than mine. You know, kung
Kristen,
fu.
they know of AOK, and they were an USA NKF, USA
Okay,
National Karate Association Federation.
yeah, I think that one has 3 points for a head kick. I think.
I'm in a cage. Oh no.
No,
Oh no. They
that's even
used me. They used me against my teammate. That's what I hate about it. They like pick you up
no.
and throw you at your teammate. Um, you and Chris are having a whole conversation in a different language. Shotokan is an offshoot of Shurite, same as Shuri
Okay,
Ryu. And now my dogs are in here. I'm sure you can hear them.
cool.
So you did. I'm sorry. We got on the topic of karate because you were saying you did like street fighting of some sort.
Uh, well, I mean, there'd be sometimes problems in the bathroom changing room.
No, I mean you did some sort of competitive fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, amateur sport karate.
Oh, sport karate. Okay.
Yeah, um, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, Texas was kind of special in that the groin was a legal target,
Oh,
and so we fought a little bit differently.
that sounds painful.
It can be, it can be like you always had to have your cup on, but
Mhm.
um, front leg roundhouse tap kick to the nuts. 2 points. 2 points.
Oh no. I
Oh
was
damn!
never
You're in the
interested.
mix. You're in the mix right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm really, you can catch the ball if they throw it at you,
Yeah.
but I'm really terrible at that. So I play a little bit more aggressively and I try to shove them. If they're trying to hit me, I shove them instead of trying to catch. See, because I can never catch. I
Well,
uh I played softball and I was a catcher
okay.
in softball, but like I said, I went to a very poor school, so I didn't have like my own gear or anything like that. I just used what the school had, and of course, like you can't maybe tell on screen, but I'm a pretty small statured person, not typical for a softball catcher. So none of the equipment fit me. So I would get hit in like all of the weirdest places, like my
Yeah.
knees or like my groin,
Uh,
all the time. It was not fun.
yeah, I made the mistake. I was a big sandal guy, Chacos. So I'd be catching for some of our pitchers
Okay.
and strong pitchers, but sometimes, just a bit inside or outside. And my big toe got caught once. And I was like, okay, closed toe shoes.
Yeah. Mhm. Oh,
'Cause,
it's rough getting hit by a softball. Oh man, I didn't do so well this time. You see how like every character is like so unique. It's because you can really customize it. I'm gonna show you because I think it's one of the cool things. I think like and the problem with it is that it's really enticing to want to spend money so that you can have the cool stuff in these games. That's a little frustrating to me. But you can do it without spending money. You just have to play the game. You just have to get better.
yeah, yeah. With this, you could spend. I've spent probably like $300 1 month on Marvel Strike Force,
Yeah.
which had me like, okay, I can't play this game anymore.
Because you're spending so much money? That sounds
Yeah,
like Chris in League of Legends.
it's like, okay, now I just need to find discipline and not
Hmm.
spend that much, you know.
So these are like you can pick like all these cool outfits. And
Hmm.
what I like about this game is that they're not tied. The clothing isn't tied to the like. There's no. You don't pick like a gender. So like you can pick whatever clothing you want, and you can pick whatever face you want. And there's no like it's not separated by gender. So you can have like my character can have a really feminine looking face if I want it to, and have like a really rugged outfit, which a lot of games, didn't used to be like that. You know, you would get like the girl character or the guy
Uh,
character, and then that's it. And now, like, I love that you can play all these cool designs. It's fun. I'm sure it's like that in the Marvel game too, right? A
yeah,
lot of
like
customizable.
you can get other uniforms. You can't totally customize, but yeah, they put out different uniforms that you, if you build enough credits, you can purchase.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I got my Cyclops and his new stuff, Deadpool. All right, I just kicked off that Nazi. After many notices of
Nice.
no activity and war defense, offense, or donations, plus the Red Skull icon, bad
You're out.
taste. You're out.
Um, yeah, Seed was talking about how microtransactions are the cancer of the gaming world, and I was
Mhm.
just agreeing. Um, I think I was watching something recently, and they were comparing it to like teaching children how to gamble. Like,
Yeah.
you're like uh, starting early, right? So like now they're just like nickel and diming children just so they can have a cool outfit or a cool weapon. There's this TV show I started watching called Mythic Quest. Have you heard of it?
No, no. TV
Y-
show?
Yeah, it's on Apple TV.
Okay, I got Apple.
It's called Mythic Quest, and it is about this video game creator and like his studio, and he
Okay.
like made like one of the world's most famous like RPG games. Think like World of Warcraft or like
Uh-huh.
something like that, and it's or Final Fantasy. So it's like a big game, and it's just a really hilarious um, perspective on like the gaming industry. And they have a character in there who's like the finance character, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna nickel and dime these little kids, right? Like we're gonna like it's just funny to see it so like blatantly like
What,
it's
what,
supposed to be funny because it's a TV show, but it's like not a
what's
joke.
the
It's
name
like
of it
really
again?
it's called Mythic Quest. The
Okay.
Yeah, the name of the game in the show is Mythic Quest.
Okay.
I find it really hilarious. Uh,
Yeah. I just rewatched all the Ted Lasso. I
okay,
needed that. All the
it's
good cries.
nice to rewatch something you've already watched. There's no like big surprises, right?
Oh, and just revisiting and be like, oh, I thought that was later. And like, yeah, Ted Lasso and what was it? Hamlet 2, the movie Hamlet 2.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Whenever I see Get Down, those are that's my medicine. Yeah, Hamlet 2 is hilarious.
Ah,
No, no, wait. You can fall?
yeah, you fall off the edge. People can like catch you, like if so I can turn into like a ball like this,
Yeah,
and my teammates can throw me, but
cool.
my enemies can also pick me up if I'm in a ball, and they can just like throw me off the edge. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I started rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just started season 1 yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." I needed something like
Yeah,
TV is so stressful right now.
yeah. I've gone through that about 3 times.
Yeah.
Buffy, like I don't know. I kind of came from a matriarchal family, so like strong women have always
Hmm.
had a place in my life, and so like that's what I get about like, oh, that latest Masters of the Universe revelation.
Oh
Spoiler.
yeah, I started watching it, but I actually forgot that we were watching it.
Have you watched the first season? Pretty much.
Yes.
Can we have a spoiler
Yeah.
conversation on here? Can we have a spoiler
Yeah, yeah,
conversation?
yeah. Ah, I don't care. Spoilers for Masters of the Universe.
Revelation, where they kill He-Man off in
Oh,
the first
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
episode,
remember that.
and all the reaction was like, "This is not the Tila show. I
Yeah.
want show for He-Man." Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And
Uh-huh.
the title of the show wasn't He-Man. It was Masters of the Universe. And plus, it's like, what great character development of Tila or Evelyn
Yeah.
in the show, or just like with Evelyn and Skeletor's toxic relationship. I mean, it was
Yeah.
such a brilliant show, and oh man, I loved it. But like, I'm like that. When I watch a show, I go look at the reviews and whatnot.
Mhm.
It was all just this toxic masculinity, just bullshit. Can I curse on this? I'm
Yeah.
sorry if I.
No, yeah. No, it's fine.
Okay.
You definitely can. I mean, we definitely do.
All right. Good. Good. Good.
Especially when you're streaming video games, it's hard to not
Oh yeah.
accidentally. Um, yeah, I know. I don't like the internet is so toxic. I don't need it to ruin something I enjoy. It ruins enough.
It does. I'd,
Yeah, that's a good show. I gotta remember to go back and finish that.
Buffy or
Oh,
Masters.
Masters of the Universe. Yeah, Revelations.
Yeah, I really like that. And the second part's out too now. So
Yeah, I can't remember where I'm at in it. I get distracted because there's so much, like
I know.
so many options.
It's not like when I grew up where there was 3 channels on TV. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, and I liked it because like I didn't have to pick. Like
Yeah.
you get what you get kind of thing. I mean, I like that I have options now because I get to choose things that are more interesting or that I care about, but sometimes it's too many options.
And just with all this, like another streaming service, like when Paramount came out or Peacock, I'm like another one. It's like, okay, somebody get this, and you can have my Netflix. I mean, I lost my Netflix Hulu.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I
Your
lost Hulu,
contact.
my contact, but somebody still has my Netflix. And like, okay, what's the politics in that? Like, uh, off my Netflix? Like, no, these are good friends of mine, but um, yeah. So I need to find somebody who has something, and we can all trade out and share.
Yeah, yeah. That's the goal in life. I need to have a friend who has one of each. Right now, I just have them all because I do.
Yeah.
Because I need to make it more
How
difficult
dare
on
you!
myself.
Hear
Thank you
you.
for following. Oh, I didn't catch what it said. I think it said King something. You know, Hart, you're popular. We got like 3 follows this episode, and we got, a person in the Discord. Consider it a win.
Nice. And now that's a different uniform from
Yeah.
before.
So I
This is
have
less,
3 characters
more
that I have. This is one character. Um,
yeah.
this is the one that I made to look like me because they've got orange hair like me. And this is my, I don't know, other character. You can have 3. There's no difference between their stats. They're all the same. Like you don't get any better stats.
Okay.
It's just cosmetic.
Yeah. Same with the uniforms. Like now they have all the characters from the latest Avengers versus X-Men
Oh yeah.
line, where it was Cyclops, White Queen, Colossus, Magic, and Namor all have got the Phoenix Force.
Oh cool.
Just got Magic on the game, and I'm like, can we get Phoenix Force uniforms and maybe a power boost with that too? Because the
Um,
Phoenix is such a hard get. I'm, I've been playing for years and I still have yet to get Phoenix. I got to build up a bunch of other characters.
Phoenix is great. That was one of my favorite characters. Um, have you seen? So, are you like a big Marvel fan?
Yeah,
Are you like a big comic fan too?
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I read some parts of DC, like Justice League International. The writers on the Justice League back in the 80s and 90s were just brilliant and funny. It was hilarious and real smart writing. And then when Image Revolution happened, I was right there with it, and because like Jim Lee was a X-Men artist, and Rob Liefeld was X-Force. So when the X-Books lost their greatest artist to Image, I was like, no. But I was like, okay, what books are they doing? Um,
Oh, hey Lou Dog, and hey King Ace. We got Lou. Lou was my guest last week. Do you know Lou? Uh, Lewis Raprager is the
okay.
VFP member. He was on last week. He just joined us in chat. I was
So,
asking about Marvel stuff because Chris is like knows a lot and reads a lot of the comics and is like still reading the ones that are coming out now. We probably have a lot in common to talk about. We got to get you on a show, a a gaming show too.
yeah.
Did you see the Eternals movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What'd you think?
Uh, well, I mean, I never read that comic, so I really wasn't invested in the characters.
Okay.
I think I think it would have been better if it was a Disney show. I
Okay.
mean, like a series, like a WandaVision, or
Oh, okay.
but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I mean, I knew in the after credit scene, uh, I knew about Star Fox, which is a problematic character in the comics, which they address in the comics. Star Fox. Do you know about that?
I am not as well versed in all of the Marvel stuff, but I am slowly getting into it. So please educate me.
Well, Star Fox was an Avenger, and one of his powers was of persuasion,
Okay.
and he was a ladies' man. And
Oh, okay.
there was, and they addressed it in the comics where, like, did the ladies really have consent
I just got a triple KO. That
when
was
he used
awesome.
when he used his persuasive powers, you know,
Oh,
and
okay.
but got a big reaction from the theater because apparently the actor playing him is from a band or something like I think One Direction,
Oh, okay.
one of the guys. So like a lot of people were like, "Woo!" And
Really excited about it.
not that many people know about Star Fox in the
Yeah.
comics. Like, I mean, but yeah, Harry Styles, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, he's pretty popular.
yeah,
Ah,
but yeah, it was cool to see that. Really cool to see or hear Blade's voice at the end.
yeah, we got Lou Dog says he loves the Black Knight. And Seed says that they thought Eternals was disappointing.
Yeah, like I said, like I never read those comics, and so it's like, what can you do?
Yeah. I I love a good superhero story. I've always been a fan of like superhero action movies.
Hmm.
So I've been enjoying the like MCU and getting to learn so much about it. Because there's so many people who are like you and Chris who are like know so much. And like I like that they're giving these like characters who maybe didn't have huge roles, like bigger storylines.
Yeah, like Guardians of the Galaxy.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was a low tier comic that I didn't even think about picking up, you
Mhm.
know. But that's what corporate greed has ruined so much. Like X-Men movies,
Mhm.
like pretty much every X-Men movie was a Wolverine movie.
Mhm.
Like my
Mhm.
favorite X-Men
Oh.
movie was New Mutants and I First Class.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
But even then, with First Class, they had Alex older than Scott. I mean, I don't know, this is over some people's heads, but yeah, like to do it,
Storylines, yeah.
yeah, to do it right. Um, but
I'm excited to see also like the way that like the studios have like rights to the different things has been annoying in terms
yeah,
of right the way things are created. So now I think we can have the X-Men and the Marvel characters be in the same universe because the studios are
and
collaborating. Forgive my ignorance on the topic, but
no. Well, I mean, they took away mutants for the MCU,
yeah.
like Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver. They're mutants. They're
Yeah, but they couldn't say it because like Sony or somebody had the rights to mutants.
so they take away. It's almost like I don't want to say it's like dead naming because that's
Right.
more real and intense, but
Yeah, but
uh,
it's definitely changing the story a lot.
yeah, Cloak and Dagger
Oh
are
yeah.
no mutants. Squirrel Girl. I love Squirrel
Oh
Girl.
yeah, I just learned about Squirrel Girl recently.
She's not
Um
a mutant anymore, and I'm like, no, stop taking away our mutants. Like
yeah. Betty?
you're
Hello?
born this way.
Say hi. Say hi, Bubby. Um
Puppet out.
um yeah, Lou Dog says that he's excited for Moon Knight, who is a character I also don't know.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Batman with multiple personality problems.
It doesn't the real Batman have lots of personality problems? Batman
Uh,
thinks he's like a savior when oh my god, I saw a meme
yeah.
recently that was
That
like
man, that man has definitely become way more problematic now that I think about it.
well, he's like this really rich dude who has like so many resources that all of he could solve the problems that he's trying to solve by fighting if he were just invest in the community with all of his money.
Puppy Doggy agrees.
Yeah, he's
It's yeah. I
wants
mean,
attention.
well, like in that Christopher Nolan movie where there was a train, the Wayne train. Uh, Build a train so people can get to work affordable and stuff, and
Mhm.
like expand on that. Put in those programs. Like you could buy top of tanks and fat jets and all sorts of stuff. You could put in pop computers in all the schools and shit like that.
Blue Dog explained it. Disney bought Fox, and now Sony is collaborating with Disney. So that's how we're getting these things.
Yeah.
But that whole concept just drives me nuts. That like this is just capitalism, like ruining our arts and our
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll play one more match and call it a day. I want to win, and I lost, so I'm gonna try to go out on a win. Are there any other Marvel movies coming out that you're excited about, or TV shows?
She-Hulk.
Oh, that's gonna be exciting.
I was reading She-Hulk back in the day, the sensational She-Hulk.
Okay.
Uh, It was the series after the Savage She-Hulk, and that was like breaking the fourth wall, funny, funny book, and really enjoyed that. John Bryan was the artist, one of the classic artists of X-Men, Fantastic Four, and so the She-Hulk. And there's so much stuff coming out. I'm kind of interested in the Moon Knight. Um, I know there's the Miss Marvel
Oh
show.
yeah, I heard that too.
Um,
Which is different than Captain Marvel. Yeah.
yeah, Inhuman. Who? Well, I don't know if they're gonna make her an Inhuman.
Ooh, Doctor Strange too. That's a good one, Lou Dog. I do like Doctor Strange, maybe because I like Benedict Cumberbatch a lot.
Did you watch the Sherlock, the
Yes.
BBC?
Actually, my dog, who's right in here making noise, his name is Moriarty.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, I liked that show a lot. I was sad when it ended. There was this other show that we were watching. I'm forgetting the name. Maybe if Sin is listening, they could put it in the chat. But it was a show about the kids in the town where Sherlock was, who were like his they were like his little posse that like went out and like got the scoop on things. Like
Oh,
that
nice.
so it's like sort of like this show about this like, ragtag group of like teenagers that like help Sherlock with all of his
It's BBC.
No, I'm not sure where it is. I'll have to look it up. I forget what it was. But it was good. I mean, it's like new, like on. I think like I just watched the first season, right? So like the next season probably won't come out for like 6 months or a year now.
Well, I like the. I think it was a movie, or was it a series about Enola Holmes, the
Oh
younger sister?
yeah. I
I
think it was
thought
a
that was,
movie.
yeah,
It was good.
yeah, I like that. It undercut the well, maybe that's not the right word. It hit on the women's suffrage movement that was happening at the time.
Yeah. Um, Dog says Ironheart is coming out, and I
Yeah.
recently got into those comics, so that'll be exciting. Ironheart's
Yeah.
cool.
Ironheart's on Marvel Strike Force. I really haven't developed her yet, but
So is it like you bit like can just level up each character, or
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you level up each character, but there's so many characters. It's just smart to just pick a
Mhm.
couple that you want to build up the most, and yeah, during my massive spending thing, I got a good enough war team, uh, and then I saved my mutants for the attack. But yeah, I'm also a fan of the Fantastic Four, which is also another disappointing film,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
I
I know
remember.
I can't wait for Marvel to do the Fantastic Four right, the MCU to do it right. Yeah, Fantastic Four was my first comic,
Nice.
so it was they're kind of the same. Well, not the same as the X-Men, but same type of kind of
Yeah.
appreciate.
They had what, Silver Surfer, the rock guy,
The,
right?
the, the what? The
The
Silver
guy that
Surfer.
is that Fantastic Four?
Yeah, Silver Surfer. Yeah,
Mhm.
he messes with the Fantastic Four a lot because
Okay.
Fantastic Four does a lot of cosmic stuff, and Galactus. He was the Herald of Galactus, which could be a big bad, but looks like Kane's going to be the next big bad. After Thanos.
Oh, okay. I have such a hard time like there's so many like timelines and dimensions
Hmm.
like
Oh
keeping
yeah.
track of like which people are in which
I mean, I stopped really reading, following all the comics back in the late '90s.
Oh yeah?
So I've been just I mean, when I was living in Seattle, the library had tons of graphic novels or the storylines that were put in big books.
Mhm.
So I was able to at least catch up on the X-Men and stuff and learn about other books that were really cool that were social justice basis. And yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's so much out there, so much. And
Yeah.
definitely with like the Avengers, I mean, they've been around since the '60s, like the X-Men and Fantastic Four. And so you're looking at like, what was it? So 60, 40, 20, like 60 years of story for a lot of these characters.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I've have you seen the Spider like new Spider-Man?
Oh yeah,
I love
I
all of the different Spideys together
yeah, yeah, having their conversations together about
about Warner Brothers, and like I love
yeah,
the like breaking the fourth wall in the
mhm,
comic movies because I think that's really hilarious.
yeah, like Deadpool, they did right.
Yeah, I like
Uh,
Deadpool too.
Deadpool has been comic accurate, and you know it was widely successful because it was faithful to the books. You know, and that's what I mean. They did these movies because the comics were so popular for a reason. That's my gripe with a lot of X-Men movies. They tried to do it differently than the books. And of course they were popular because I mean that was the game at the time. It was like, but yeah, I love it. I've always been inspired by superheroes, standing up for what's right, doing it.
Yeah. Do you have kids?
Me, no.
Yeah.
I got nieces and nephews.
Yeah, me neither. Same situation. I'm happy with my nieces and nephews.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the best. It's like
Just I get to like I'm always the kooky aunt that like comes in and like gets them all riled up, and then I'm like, okay, bye. That was fun. I got to play with some kids.
I've only changed one dirty diaper in my life, and I'm good.
I don't know if I've actually ever.
Well, don't jinx
Yeah,
yourself.
I know. Well, I think all of my nieces and nephews are
Oh yeah,
out of
past that.
diapers.
Good. That's good.
So I don't know if there's going to be any other babies that I would be changing diapers.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, yes.
yeah, and I try to get them like my niece Penelope. She's 6 now, and there's this French cartoon that is like superhero-y of like a ladybug
Okay. Yeah.
character. I think it's the cartoon's from France.
Oh, okay.
Um, that she's super into. Yeah, there's a ladybug character. She's the main heroine, and her boyfriend's a cat, kind of superhero. And it's pretty cool stuff. But yeah,
Comic books are where it's at.
yeah.
I think
Is it time?
I think that's it for me. I my hands get tired of
Yeah,
playing. Yeah, so I
yeah.
this game I play mouse and keyboard. And not I think you can play a controller. Uh, but I choose to play mouse and keyboard so my hand gets all cramped up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you like to join us on any other shows, like let us know. Get in the Discord and see what we're doing. And
Okay.
I'll just tell everybody to like be like Heart's cool. You should message Heart and
Okay.
get in contact with him. But I'm gonna for the stream I'm gonna give a lowdown about what the rest of our week looks like. So Tuesday nights we do Tabletop Tuesday. Are you a D&D player or have you ever played any D&D
No,
like games?
no.
Okay.
Not in a long time. I just recently got the old Marvel game from the '80s. That's a role playing game.
Oh, cool. Oh, we should play that. So, on Tabletop Tuesdays, we used to just play D&D every Tuesday. Not me. I don't play D&D. We as in Gamers for Peace. Uh, but now we're switching to just trying like a bunch of different kind of role-playing games. So like every week we're like trying out some new games. And this week we actually have a special guest on Tuesday from a game called Solar Punk Futures.
Okay.
And so they made like an RPG game that's like about, solar punk and it's like utopian based future. Um,
Okay.
that is hey Sheena. On Tuesdays that starts at 8, so you can watch along. This week is Solar Punk Futures, and then next week I think Sin is leading a cyberpunk game if you've ever played or seen cyberpunk. So that's so like maybe like down the line we could do the Marvel RPG. So tabletop RPGs on Tuesday nights on 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, Seed. I always forget to say what time zone I'm in. And then Wednesday nights we have Jules doing Right Seat Ride with where she does like a little interview with like an old school vet and a new school vet, and they kind of like talk about their experiences together. And then Thursday nights we do a community game night where we play like games like Jackbox and stuff like that
Okay.
with like online with the stream and our community. That's just for fun. And then Friday nights we've got Plantifa, and she hosts a show called Military Ad Slam. And basically they just like play like military recruitment ads or like military themed like movie clips, and they just kind of like talk about how terrible the military industrial complex is and like call them out and stuff like that. It's really fun. It's like very satirical. Um, they talk about current events and stuff. So that's this week. To our viewers, feel free to join us on any of those shows and join us in Discord. And thank you again, Hart, for joining us tonight. It was really nice to meet you and talk about some of this stuff. And Marvel. Now that I know you're like a big Marvel fan, like you're really gonna get connected with the community
For days.
for days. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Talk about it for days.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of people who could do that too. Um, let's see here. I'm gonna transition us, but you don't have to say goodbye. But I'm gonna say goodbye to the
Okay.
stream. So thanks everybody for joining us. We'll catch you another time.